Hello and welcome to Vault 81. This video is going to run through the story of Vault 81, the people, experiments and secrets inside that make the vault one of the most interesting places in the Commonwealth. If you're new here, be sure to check out the other vaults I've covered so far by clicking on the thumbnail on screen now or checking the description. Vault 81 is located directly east of Diamond City, etched into the side of a large dirt mound. The vault can be found easily by spotting the large billboard advertising the vault and the Vault-Tec entrance grounds just outside. 81 is one of the few vaults in the world of Fallout that is still operational and inhabited by vault dwellers and their descendants. Gwen McNamara, the overseer for Vault 81, only grants access to the Commonwealth traders if they have something the vault requires. As a result, workers inside the vault have to work extra to keep up with the ever-increasing maintenance works of the vault. In the year 2287, Vault 81 seems to be a perfectly normal and fully functional vault. It's a fascinating place to walk around and see the daily life of vault dwellers as it was imagined. Cafeteria room, barbers, doctors' facilities, schoolrooms, food production, all up and running with reasonably happy residents both young and old. Of course, there is more to it than meets the eye. All vaults created and completed by Vault-Tec had an associated vault experiment. However, Vault 81's experiment never fully got off the ground. In the reactor room, there's an old terminal that belonged to the original overseer, Dr. Olivet. A ton of information can be gathered from this machine. First off is the Prime Directive from Vault-Tec. This is to be read only by the overseer and usually outlines the mission they must carry out.
The mission of Vault 81 is to research infectious diseases and antibodies, with particular attention paid to potential mutations in a climate of heavy radiation. Clinical trials are a vital part of Vault 81's mission. Trials will be performed in 3 stages. Stage 1 trials are to be conducted in petri dish cultures. Stage 2 trials are to be performed on the colony of heterocephalus glaber specimens furnished by Vault-Tec. Stage 3 trials may be performed on the residential population of Vault 81. Scientific staff will be restricted to the hermetically sealed research area. This measure reduces the chance of cross-contamination between residential and scientific staff populations. The overseer will have communication capabilities, but no other members of the residential population are to be made aware of the Prime Directive.
So basically, Vault-Tec are looking to infect the residents of Vault 81 with different diseases and forms of radiation. The reason for this will be revealed a little bit later. To accomplish the test goals, a team of scientists will have to be sealed away in a separate area to prevent cross-contamination. These scientists will then carry out their experiments in a lab, then with animals, and then on the Vault 81 dwellers. I think you'll agree that unlike some other vaults we've covered, this is a really interesting and plausible scenario. The terminal has even more information on it, explaining the procedure for doing test drills and for actually bringing in the residents in the event of nuclear war. Interestingly, the overseer is to remain separate from the researchers, but can communicate through this personal terminal. So, did the experiment ever take place? Delving further into the terminal, we can take a look at Dr. Olivet's private logs and the research records. I just want to mention that we don't know if Dr. Olivet is a man or a woman, so I'll be referring to them as a man so I can narrate their voice in this video. In the private logs, Olivet first writes about his disbelief at being chosen, and the rumours that the vault will be used for human trials. However, Olivet exclaims that if they are crossing any ethical lines, he'll make sure it goes all the way to Congress in his protests. Later on in the entries, Olivet receives the brief from Vault-Tec and is clearly torn about what to do.
It's much worse than I thought. I was finally given my full briefing today. Not only is Vault-Tec asking us to do clinical trials on humans, they've got some serious backers in government. I can't just blow the whistle on this. I've seen the admission roster. There are good people planning to live in Vault 81, and I've little doubt the vaults will come to use eventually. I won't reward the trust of these people by treating them like guinea pigs. I feel trapped. I don't know what to do. I made a decision. I deliberately sabotaged the phone list, such a simple thing, but it meant that none of the science staff received a notification about the drill. The residents are beginning to show up and we'll have our hands busy admitting everyone.
The next entry is the day the bombs fell. Olivet got called in for another drill, but it quickly turned into the real thing. Olivet's sabotage was only a partial success. 2 scientific staff made their way to the vault with the general population, and another was there already, just in case there was a drill. Olivet regarded that the 3 members reported to the research area immediately and got sealed in and began working. It's not clear how many was intended to work there, but 3 seems to be an extremely small amount for the kind of work they'll need to produce. Before reading further, now's the time we take a look at the research comms. The second entry, named "Where is Everyone?", tells us about the 3 who entered the research side and that they were wondering what went wrong and why there was no drills that day. Olivet, being the saboteur, plays along for now. The researchers gradually made their way through Phase 1 and Phase 2 trials, ready for Phase 3 even after noticing the virus delivery mechanism failed. The last entry for the researchers is "Please answer," and details one of the researchers getting frustrated with Olivet for not responding. As a result, he outlines that he knows they shouldn't really be doing human trials without consent, but feels betrayed that Olivet would condemn them to die. Back over to the final logs from Olivet, and we can see that he was the one who sabotaged the delivery system as well as delaying procedures. However, in the end, he chose to just abandon communication with the researchers in the hope that they have enough food and water to last them many years and let them live out their lives in peace. So it seems like the experiment never took place, but remarks from the dwellers about being unusually healthy would have you suspect otherwise. So where is this researcher-only area? Access to it is hidden in the reactor room. In Fallout 4, it can be revealed by completing the quest to find a missing cat, or by talking to the junkie in the reactor, and then coming back a day later.
Ain't nobody gonna catch me doing this stuff.
He reveals the room as his place where he keeps his drug stash. The research side isn't just a room, it's like another entire vault. And it's clearly been abandoned for a very long time, with subsidence taking hold of the walls and dirt and grime everywhere. This vault is much more familiar sight to other vaults in the Commonwealth. Interestingly, it's also quite large, matching the residence side in size, so clearly capable of maintaining a lot of people made up of scientists and maintenance workers, which would seem accurate for a vault of 1,000 people. Venturing deeper, there's a terminal that explains the breeding program a bit more clearly for the animals. Mole rats were the subjects, and over the years some really positive results are being generated, with reports of 36% of all viruses being curable. Further into the researchers' vault, you'll come across the observation rooms. One-way windows into Vault 81 where the scientists could listen and monitor what was going on the other side. It must have been quite a cruel fate to watch every day the normal and happy lives of dwellers on the other side, while you were condemned to eventually die isolated from the rest of the world. Each room has an associated terminal where you can look at the logs of the researchers, where they decided upon what would be the best course of action to test the public. There was even an observation window looking in on the overseer's room, so the researchers could probably tell when they were being purposely ignored. It's a little surprising they never tried to break the glass and make their way into the vault as normal residents. Both sides could even be used for the extra space and resources, but there are no signs this was ever even attempted. The living quarters is a little different to the average vault. It's mostly comprised of cells for the different breeds of mole rats that were being tested on. There's also the research terminal, with the same notes as the overseer's terminal we saw before. This room grants access through a terminal to the research lab where the scientists would do their tests. In here, the true nature of what happened to the vault and why it was set up is revealed. The final resting place of the 3 scientists can be seen, laid to rest by Curie, a Mr. Handy robot issued by Vault-Tec to help the scientists, and modified by Dr. Collins to assist with lab work. As Curie began taking on greater responsibilities, Dr. Collins insisted that the other scientists treat her as they would a human, and even set aside a terminal for her own personal use, an act of kindness that initially bewildered Curie, but she later appreciated. Through her work and interaction with the scientists, Curie gradually developed a degree of self-awareness and independence that surprised even Dr. Collins. Curie has remained in the vault since the death of the scientists, working to complete her research and be relieved of her duty by a Vault-Tec security member. In this room we can read the Vault-Tec mission statement provided to the researchers. The goal of Vault 81 was to slowly subject the dwellers to viruses and sickness, so they would produce antibodies and over generations become immune to all diseases while the scientists worked on a cure. As we could see with the mole rats, the scientists were actually progressing, eliminating over 30% of all diseases, which is a massive achievement in itself. On Curie's personal terminal, we can find out about the scientists and what happened to them. They had enough food to last them their entire lives, it seems, as Dr. Burroughs died of old age, and it seems the same is true for Dr. Collins and Dr. Flint. Their final instruction to Curie was to complete her research, so their deaths would not be in vain. What's amazing is that Curie over the centuries managed to actually achieve her colleagues' wishes. She created a cure that would heal any sickness, but only has one batch remaining as all others have expired. Essentially, Vault 81's experiment was a partial success. The cure to any human sickness was created, and the Vault's population thrived. What makes this Vault story brilliant is Dr. Olivet, the Overseer. Because of his guilt and sense of ethical obligations, he felt that he could sacrifice the few for the many. He sabotaged the phone list, meaning that the majority of the scientists wouldn't arrive at the Vault and would die when the bombs fell. Later, he condemned the 3 remaining scientists to die alone, cut off from the world. The irony, of course, being that Vault-Tec were also sacrificing the few for the many by having human test subjects. Further to that, with hindsight, we know that the scientists did indeed manage to further their research and create a cure. Given the full research power they were intended to have, they may have possibly eradicated all diseases much quicker, and found a way to reproduce it, saving thousands, millions if not more lives in the process. Vault 81 is by far one of the most interesting vaults in Fallout history. Let me know what you think in the comments about the Vault. Was Olivet correct in sabotaging the phone list? Should he have exposed the scientists and Vault-Tec's plans? Or should he have viewed the results objectively to see the progress that was being made? It's a very tough ethical dilemma that really has no answer, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. That's all from me. Tune in next week for more Vault stories.